So, is Blade and Soul worth playing in 2017? Easy question to answer, right? Right. So, the too long didn't watch version of this video is, yes, Blade and Soul is still more or less worth playing in 2017. Now, if you want my reasoning behind why I do believe this, please watch the entire video. It will be covering everything I believe you need to know if you're on the fence about playing Blade and Soul. I mean, it's not a long video, I promise. Browsing through Reddit every day, the Blade and Soul forums, and other MMO-related communities, I see a lot of hate for Blade and Soul regarding pay to win. This video isn't about whether or not Blade and Soul is pay to win, pay to progress, or pay to catch up, but I will briefly touch on each of them as we continue throughout the video. So Blade and Soul is a Korean fantasy martial arts MMORPG originally released in Korea in 2012. It finally made its way to the West in early 2016 and has quickly become one of the most popular free-to-play MMORPGs on the market. That is with good reason though. Yes, the game gets some hate, but honestly, what MMORPG doesn't? Blade and Soul is still one of the better free-to-play MMORPGs out there to date and still has a lot of new players jumping into the game. Right, so on topic, let's take a few minutes to run down what Blade and Soul does right and what it does wrong. Out of the multitude of areas Blade and Soul excels in, the character creator is easily one of the better ones, possibly being beaten by, or at the very least rivaled by Black Desert Online or Vindictus' character creators. Either way, Blade and Soul's character creator gives you a large amount of control over the way your character looks, from facial proportions to body proportions. This is the kind of character creation you want in an MMORPG, as it enables you to create a character that is truly unique, or at least as unique as you could be bothered to make it. Unlike a lot of MMORPGs, Blade and Soul presents you with a plethora of customizable sliders to really take your character a step further than most often limit you to. Even if you can't really make tall Lyn characters, which is, granted, a little pet peeve of mine, but hey. And yes, the game may be a little more on the sexualized side of things, but it seems as though that goes hand in hand with a good character creator these days. Combat in Blade and Soul is action-based, taking advantage of comboing your skills together to make for some devastating killer finishers. Not only is the combat incredibly entertaining to actually play through, having the ability to customize each of your skills using the talent tree offered makes for some really fun skill customization. Now, granted, there is a traditional cookie-cutter build for the majority of skills and classes, but that doesn't stop you from playing the way you want to. At least outside of group content. PvE is a much more touchy subject and depends greatly on how much you want out of the PvP aspect of the game. Blade and Soul is traditionally and foremost a PvP-oriented game, meaning it was built more around PvP than it was around PvE, unlike most MMORPGs. Now, that being said, Blade and Soul does offer a good amount of PvE elements throughout the game. You have your traditional questing system, running from quest hub to quest hub, killing monsters, looting items, and, generally saving each zone from whatever baddie was plaguing it. And by zone, I do mean instant zone. Instead, you're given the option to explore large open zones. These are more or less no different to an open world area, but they are cut off by a loading screen. You still see other players, and you can literally do virtually anything that you could normally do in an open world game. Along with traditional quests, you're given a large amount of varying 4-man to 6-man dungeons to run, both while leveling and at endgame, along with a few 24-man raids. Then to top it off, you're also given the ability to engage large world bosses, which are pretty cool little elite monsters spread around a variety of zones for awesome chances at soul shields, equipment, items, and unique costumes. Even if the RNG sucks on them. Now, PvP in Blade and Soul comes in two forms. Open world PvP, which is normally ganking people questing and calling in friends to bail you out, and instance PvP, where people complain about lag, botters, and hackers. But don't be alarmed, this is not specific to Blade and Soul, of course. It is just generally how PvP works in pretty much all MMORPGs. Okay, so jokes aside, there's open world PvP, and instance PvP, like arenas. Arenas range from 1v1 to 3v3 matches. By winning arenas, you're rewarded with Zen Beans, a currency required to purchase PvP exclusive equipment, outfits, skill books, and soul stones. PvP inside arenas is much more balanced than open world PvP, as arenas equalize gear discrepancies. Meaning that gear doesn't really play so much of a role in winning or losing a match. Although 6v6 arenas were introduced more recently, and strangely they do not equalize your gear like in 1v1 and 3v3 arenas. A very interesting choice, definitely. This tends to make 6v6 for a lot of players much less enjoyable than 1v1 or 3v3, as whales, people that spend a lot of money on the game to get ahead, often plague the bracket. Now moving on, to actually participate in open world PvP, you're required to wear faction-specific costumes, after which you are then given the option to do battle with other players wearing the opposing faction's costumes out in the open world. One of the cool PvE aspects of equipping faction-specific costumes, by the way, is that it actually unlocks daily faction quests and faction-specific Windstride locations. Unfortunately, open world PvP is one of the areas that people often claim is very pay to win, blaming whales for min-maxing their characters and absolutely destroying you. This is, no doubt, when you call in your friends to bail you out. But, if I can be completely honest with everyone here, barely anyone actually participates in open world PvP, as it's pretty much just a huge, uncoordinated Zergfest anyway. Okay, so unlike other MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, Blade & Soul offers a stranger, more unique endgame approach. Instead of attempting to go for world-first mythic raid clears and the like, instead, Blade & Soul has you grind out gold for materials to consistently upgrade your gear to the next level. Don't get me wrong, there are dungeons and raids in the game that you can participate in, but they're just a means to an end. The be-all and end-all of Blade & Soul is the grind. However, there are plenty of people that don't mind putting in time and effort, or money, into the game to get further through it and progress to the next stage. One other area I would like to touch upon real quick is the ping issue and optimization issues. Up until recently, Blade & Soul did very poorly with regards to optimizing their game. People constantly complained about constant FPS drops, and I personally witnessed it every time I played. But recently, NCSoft pushed out some very effective optimization fixes that has made the game run baby smooth for me personally, and for a lot of people that were complaining. Now, this next area is where things tend to get bad. Ping in Blade & Soul is absolutely atrocious. I have witnessed firsthand, talked to, read, and seen people complain about ping issues time and time again, literally everywhere, dating all the way back to when Blade & Soul originally launched. Latency in this game is terrible. It seems as though it doesn't really matter where you're from, the game always lags and there is literally nothing you can do about it. This makes both PvE, where dodging at the perfect moment is ideal, and PvP, where timing your skills perfectly is all but required, much more difficult than it should be. Now, summing up this video, is Blade & Soul worth playing in 2017? Yes, I believe it is. Graphically, the game looks amazing. The sheer customizability of your character is amazing. Combat in Blade & Soul is one of its key selling points, giving you the ability to control different aspects of your character's skills through its unique talent system. There's plenty to see and plenty to do with regards to PvE in Blade & Soul, although maybe not all that much outside of grinding to progress through endgame. PvP is active and has a progression system that you can actually advance through, along with unique costumes and gear purchasable through Zen Beans, the currency used for PvP. The game is well populated and still has new players joining all the time. In fact, it is one of the larger free-to-play MMORPGs, so if you're in the market for a well-populated free-to-play MMORPG, here you go. Now, there are a few cons to the game, such as whales and the pay-to-win complaints, but if you can get past those, Blade & Soul is an incredibly fun game. It's beautiful, fun, and definitely worth a try for anyone looking for a free-to-play MMORPG that is fast, good-looking, fun, highly customizable, and well-populated. That's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little is it worth playing review video. These are my personal thoughts on whether Blade & Soul is actually worth playing still in 2017. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Leave a comment and hit that like button if you feel I personally deserved it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with more informational videos like this one and other MMORPGs, gameplay videos, and other videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and have an awesome day.